Circle 4 was named Hoarders and Wasters, and its position was in Upper Hell in the fourth circle. The sin of hoarders was that they kept objects and money to themselves due to greed, while the wasters didn't regulate expenses and thought of nothing but money. Their punishment was that they were hindered by dead weights and had to push them at each other. Along with this, their souls became so dim during their rages at one another that they are unrecognizable. This is fit to their crime because they are destined to forever push weights at one another while in a fitful rage for the rest of eternity. This, again, is fitting as both are near opposites. Hoarders keep, wasters throw everything away. But both are, at the core, greedy. This punishment forces them into a never-ending feud with one another. People in this chapter, one person is Plutus. He guards the hoarders and wasters. He's the mythological god of wealth and riches. A summary of Circle 4 is that Plutus begins the Canto, speaking an untranslatable gibberish as he tries to scare them away. However, Virgil puts him off and they continue into the fourth circle of hell. They immediately come upon a scene of destruction. The sinners divided into two mobs, one screaming, "Why do you hoard?" and the other screaming, "Why do you waste?" While saying this, both mobs are pushing large boulders and weights. Every time they meet at the middle and clash, they soon separate, only to repeat the pattern again and again. Dante asks about the sinners, and Virgil explains the Dame Fortune to him. They soon come across the Marsh of Styx. Charybdis, a famous whirlpool in the Straits of Sicily. This allusion is used by Virgil when he speaks to Plutus. Dame Fortune. Dame Fortune is a figure in medieval mythology. It is normally represented as a female figure who holds a revolving wheel symbolic of chance. Dante ranks her among angels and uses her as part of the divine ordering of the universe. She is one of God's chosen ministers and gives out luck and misfortune in a preordained manner. Dante's attitude towards the hoarders and wasters was that he was confused as to why they were put under gluttons and wondered why it was considered worse than gluttony. This is what prompts Virgil to begin explaining Dame Fortune to Dante.
Hell's fifth circle, the wrathful and the sullen, is the last circle within Upper Hell, and it houses the wrathful souls and the sullen souls. Wrath meaning extreme anger, and sullen meaning repressed anger, or in this context, it means those who are sullen even in the presence of God's creations and light. The punishment for the sin of sullenness is to be forever submerged and suspended within Styx, a foul, pitch-black marsh signaling the end of Upper Hell and the entrance to the infernal city of Dis. The wrathful, in contrast, are doomed to forever clash with each other on the surface of the marsh. This is fit to their sin or crime, because essentially both are destined to perpetually reenact their own sins, the wrathful among each other, ripping one another to shreds for centuries on end, while the sullen are doomed to forever be trapped beneath the bog, unable to ever express their true rage or see the light of God. One of the crucial figures within Circle 5 is Filippo Argenti. For historical and personal context of the author, Argenti being placed in hell seems to actually be a projection of Dante, the poet, not the character, and his personal feelings toward the man. At the time this was written, Argenti was on the opposite side of the political spectrum as Dante. Dante was a white guelph who opposed, specifically, Pope Boniface VIII, while Filippo, a black guelph, supported the papacy. When black guelphs engulfed Florence, Dante was exiled in 1302 as a result, and Argenti's brother took claim to his confiscated lands. To explain why Dante placed Argenti in Circle 5 exactly, at one point an encounter between the two men resulted in Argenti slapping Dante across the face, which can be seen as the sin of wrath. To summarize Circle 5, and this is in the context of only Canto 7, as Dante and Virgil descend from Circle 4 down into Circle 5, they come across the Styx, a filthy, black marsh filled to the brim with souls of the damned. Dante describes the spirits within the bog as naked, savage with rage, and slick with slime. Dante notes that the wrathful souls eternally clash with one another, biting, thrashing, and trying to, quote, tear the other limb from limb, end quote. The Sullen, however, situated beneath the thick liquid of the Styx, were forever trapped beneath the wrathful and eternally chanting their sin. As Dante moves past Circle 5 at the end of the Canto, he comes across the Great Tower, signaling the entrance to the city of Dis. As for biblical and mythological allusions, Styx is really the only one. The river Styx is most commonly associated with the infamous tales of the Greek underworld. Dante, however, slightly alters the appearance of the usual feature by transforming it into a marsh rather than a flowing river, although a grimy bog does add to the effect of Dante's description of hell. As for the attitude of Dante towards this circle, normally Dante's journey through hell has resulted in the enactment of pity or shock within him. However, within Circle 5, he takes a harsher approach to the punishment of hell's souls, and actually somewhat mocks the Sullen. This approach is most likely due to Dante, the author, and his personal feelings towards one of the inhabitants of this circle, Filippo Argenti.